now.
Welcome back to episode 7. Is it 7?
7, yeah.
7 of the
Episode
Iona Lockdown
7.
podcast.
Hmm.
Lovely. Who have we got
Lovely.
on today, Tommy?
So first of all, this is just a scheduling thing. Usually we put the staff member first, but first cab off the rank is Bo Brown. Now, Aiden, you and I have known him since prep, all the way back at SJV, and we've got some great photos we're going to share of Bo when he was younger, when we knew him. And then coming up next, we've got Miss Bailey. Now, Miss Bailey, easily one of my favourite teachers. Aiden's never had her. She has had an incredible life. Not going to spoil it, but grew up out west. I think it was a cattle or sheep station. Not sure, but she grew up out west, and has lived an amazing life. Aiden, what are you looking forward to most?
Yeah, I'm keen to learning about Miss Bailey's story. Obviously, I've never had a proper chat to her or talked to her. From what I've heard, she's very passionate about her English, and I'm keen to hear what she has to say. But first up, Bo Brown. So we'll see how he goes.
Okay, and I think that's enough of a wrap for Bo. Let's get him in here. Hey, Bo, welcome, mate.
What's up, boys?
Aiden, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, Bo, mate. What's your favourite sport out of rugby and volleyball? Which one do you enjoy more?
It'd be footy. Rugby. It's
Footy.
Just a lot better. Volleyball, it's a bit more. It's harder to be good at volleyball as in rugby. I reckon it's just a bit easier.
Aiden, Aiden, you failed to mention cricket. And look, Bo played a long time ago.
I was going to say if it's out of the two or not, because I was going to say water polo. I see water polo.
Fair enough, mate. Aiden, sorry, I cut you off, mate. Go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Bo, you've represented your country in volleyball. How can you not be passionate about it?
That's part of the reason that I've lost the passion for it, because I used to, back in, year 8, I used to think I was quite good at it, and then I just realised playing with good players, I was like, yeah, maybe not. And then, it sort of just swayed a bit, I guess.
Okay.
Win some, lose some, mate.
Yeah.
And Bo, how much of the season of volleyball did you play this year?
I played two or three games. Three games, I think. Villa, Ashgrove Lorries, 3 games.
And that would have been tough watching on the sidelines, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was. Well, because last year, an injury happened, and they were quite anal about resting it. So this year was a similar thing. So and seeing the boys dip and hearing all the sledging at school, definitely was difficult. But it was fun. At least it would be worse if the cricket or AFL boys are doing well.
Well, I'll just add that the cricket boys did come equal fourth after winning 3 on the trot at the end. So no need for sledging, mate. How did volleyball go?
Yeah, fair enough.
And so moving on, obviously, to rugby season. How's the pre-season been? Have you been doing much?
Yeah, a bit. I needed to do a fair bit. About 6 months ago, I was in pretty bad shape, so thought I'd train a bit. But the boys work there's a fair few actual leaders in the little squad, so they push you hard.
Can you name some names,
mate? What we're talking about, the Aiden, Joey, and there's names that I don't think they need to be told because they already have enough of an ego. Yeah. But there's some big personalities there. And it's good. It's a really good the way they do it.
Okay, and
solid squad.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring this to the man we always talk about. It always ends up talking about him. Plappy, is he going to be in the squad or not?
He'll definitely be in the squad.
Okay, will he be on the run out team round one versus Villa?
Well, if his skills doesn't get him there, his ego will. So and obviously he's got that last name lingering, so it's fine. But nah, Geordie, I hope he doesn't watch this because the ego will grow. But he's tough.
He's a enthusiastic viewer, Bo. So Any
Yeah,
message?
and
Do you want to
He
say
lo-
something
he
to
loves
him?
the podcast.
No, well, he's part of the leadership, the leader squad, the team and within the squad. So he's a big voice out there, big personality, and that's when I was talking about people, like in fitness leading us on. Like he's one of the voices there. Even though it's from he's talking from like the back of the pack in the running, he's still a voice there. So yeah, it's good.
Good stuff. Aiden, anything more?
Yeah, mate. I was just gonna say, obviously, first 15 rugby is probably Iona's biggest sport. How do you think the success of this team will reflect our year 12 year as a whole and the school as a whole for the rest of the
Good
year?
question.
Yeah, well, obviously, as you said, footy is pretty big at Iona, but I reckon, yeah, because we've done so bad in other sports, it might be good to get a little premiership there. Would help a lot. But as a lot of people say to you, it's not just Mr. Milne. We're not just a footy school. There's other parts of it. And as a grade, it's actually quite good.
Yeah,
like different blokes, different personalities, and different things. Like we're decent at most things. Just first premiership would definitely go a long way. But
I loved how you said that we're definitely not about a footy school, although it is probably the most popular. You know, there's a lot of other. I know it's rightfully so, but a lot of other boys have different interests and they don't like rugby, and we got to support that as well. So yeah, that was good. I liked how you said that. And are you going to predict the premiership? Are you going to call it early? Are we going to win?
Look, I don't want to make the mistake that Cormac Jones did when he predicted he'd make a lot of runs and then didn't. So I don't want to jinx myself. But we definitely have the team on our day. We can beat most teams quite comfortably. But footy is a sport where just injuries happen, wind, forecasts, you have off days, he plays this and that. But yeah.
And especially, AIC, if you win one game, in a lot of trouble. Yeah. It's just the way.
Yeah, might I just add, boys? When we had Brad Wilkin on, he even
here we go.
Sorry. I just invited Cormac in because Bo, do you want to say this to Cormac's face?
What is it?
I just brought you.
No, I was just saying how they were talking to me about footy. I said I don't want to jinx it. Like, remember when you said you're gonna get a fair few runs this year, and then
right. Thanks for that.
Okay.
See you, Cormac. That's all I brought you in for, mate.
All right. Let me continue.
Sorry,
Brad. No, you're right. Brad said
the structure of this podcast is so different to the ones I've watched. It's just it's too.
Brad said, as a team, you can't be afraid to talk about winning. Like, you play to win. So I feel like you guys really need to adopt that mentality if you want to go for the premiership this year.
Well said.
Well, yeah, no, I think, who was it? Someone said that in the huddle before the Villa game. Like, there's a reason we're there, like, back ourselves, because the team that we have is very, very good. So, yeah, I reckon we're all quietly confident, but don't want to say too much because things change. But definitely should be comfortable top three and then compete for the premiership, which would be quite nice.
And who do you reckon our biggest, who's going to be the team that I'm not going to say that we're going to lose him. Who's going to be our biggest challenge? Because obviously 8As, we lost to Laurie's on the last game, and then we beat them in year 9, and then we lost to them in year 10. Who are you going to say this year's going to be our biggest challenge?
I reckon because it's difficult because obviously teams have strengths and weaknesses. Padua's pack, I've heard a lot about it, and I think, probably Padua seems for me to be the hardest game. Ashgrove are a bit more backs orientated, I think, so that's going to be hard for the backs. But I reckon game I'm most ready for is probably the Padua game. And then obviously there's I've seen the boys sharing the old boys days on 15th of May, so Laurie's home will be good. But that's the thing, I've seen it quite a bit this year. Every single team is quite strong, so even Pats, I've seen some of the boys there, and like they're doing a fair few rep things. So there's not really one team. Just
every match is a grand final.
That's it. Yeah.
And is Padua at home this year?
We are.
We play cricket away.
So home advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to get
what we need.
big turnout that day we're gonna have to get.
Yeah.
I reckon that's enough about rugby, Aiden.
Yeah,
We were planning our little chat here, and we thought we'd come up with some of our favourite photos of you. So just had a quick look on my mum's Facebook, and never seen someone so excited to be holding a 10-pin bowling ball.
that's
You look so happy, bro.
why.
Also repping a Titans jersey from day one, might I add.
Stop.
And I believe you have one too.
Yeah.
This is a classic.
This is my favorite photo. Just sharing the love, Bowie. It's just beautiful.
No, there's I've seen a fair few photos from SJV. I think there's one with Joey and I. We're at Max Brenner, and we're both about 8. So yeah, I used to have the bowl cut, or I don't know what it was. Yeah,
yeah. It's just a bit crazy to think that we've been going to the same school with each other, us three, for 13 years now.
Too long.
13 years, I'll never get back.
We'll need to get an SJV photo at the end of the year.
Yeah, just of all the boys
that
that
from SJV. Yeah.
minus a few.
Okay, yeah.
And now moving on, we're obviously at Iona. Bo, what's your funniest memory of Iona? And just try and keep it appropriate, please.
Yeah, always. Probably the unfortunate day where when Kai Thomas, he tripped on a a chair and then fell through a wall in Mr. Phillips' room. That probably was the funniest day, the funniest thing for me. Yeah.
I gave him $20 to try and fix that wall. He had to pay for it.
Yeah,
never saw that money again, and he didn't have to pay for the wall.
Yeah, no, that night we did a GoFundMe for Kai and Thomas. We raised like $80, and then he went and spent it on food. Sorry.
Justice.
Yeah, good
I deserve
stuff.
justice.
And just want to get your thoughts. What? It's obviously different going to Iona. What are we better at than other schools in like Laurie's or Villa?
We better at.
Like, why are we a better school?
I reckon just the mix of the boys. Like, I don't know, going out when you see other boys like outside of school, there's very distinct Villa boys, there's Laurie's boys. But Iona boys, there's a decent mix. Like, there's not groups of us.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think we're just quite close, I guess. Obviously, because we can't say sport because we've lost many games in term 1, but I don't know. It's just the mix, and like, I reckon a lot more likable boys. I'm not sure why that is. But.
Yeah, both. To me, it sounds like you're just describing the brotherhood, mate. The Iona brotherhood.
That's the word.
Everyone fits in. Everyone gets along. We all.
Good stuff.
It's just the
Aiden. Just.
That's how it works.
Exactly, the brotherhood.
We got to do these again. I've still got this. Mate. Okay, so Bo, quick fire questions. Favorite teacher?
Mr. Cornish.
Well, Mr. Harvey is not going to like that. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, if Mr. Harvey said I was his favourite student, I'd say the same. But I don't think that's the
case. Favorite subject?
Economics, but only if Mr. Stevens is teaching it.
Facts. That's what I said as well.
Not
I love Mr. Stevens.
You're not a Mrs. Elkington fan.
Never had business with Elkington was.
I love the Don.
Blessing. But economics.
Yeah, good stuff. Favorite band or artist?
Actually, I watched that Brad Wilkin podcast, that Morgan Wallen bloke.
Yeah.
I know the bloke he said. I listen to him. He's actually quite good. So yeah, probably that bloke at the moment.
Good stuff. Favorite TV show?
I don't know. Top Gear.
Oh, Top Gear. I love Top Gear. Do you not like Top Gear, Aiden?
No, I rate it. I just wouldn't think anyone would say that's.
I did not.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I've just been watching it. I've been watching it on Stan. So.
Oh yeah. You can watch Seinfeld on that too. Best.
Yeah.
Favorite movie.
Favorite movie. Oh, there's a movie. Shawshank Redemption, maybe. I like that movie.
Okay. really basic. But yeah.
I don't know.
Think outside of the box, mate. And last one, Bo. Not your funniest memory, but what's your favourite Iona memory?
Favorite Iona memory.
Something you'll cherish forever.
Well, I've seen all the boys. I reckon Joey and Will said running down the tunnel. So I haven't got that much sports stuff because of the injured.
Did you just say
I don't know.
academics?
What
No,
about
I'm trying to
accepting-
think. Favorite moment? I haven't got a clue.
What about when you got all those sports awards, Bo?
It's a bit embarrassing because I remember I walked out and they said he's got dedication, and then Cornish was just on front of the lead. He's like, "No, this isn't for you, mate. You don't have dedication." I'm like, "Yeah, fair enough, mate." And I heard Cormac Jones just front left, and then I got off and they said, "Yeah, this is for hardworking people," and he was just laughing. I was like, "It's embarrassing." But yeah, no, I don't know. Just going to see the boys each day, just mucking about. The teachers are there to help. Just
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Love it. Yeah. Aiden, anything else to ask, Bo, or you want to add?
Mate, I feel like we've covered all of it.
Yeah, good chat. Bo, anything you want to say?
Nah.
Anyone to shout out?
Anyone? No, I can't say that. Don't worry. Yeah, no. Yeah, okay, sweet as. No, cheers for having me.
Go on, you've got to say shout out to anyone. Come on, someone.
Oh, no, there's no one. There's no shout outs.
Okay.
So I've lost it. I've lost my head. Okay.
I don't think Will's going to like that. But thanks for coming on, Bo.
Yeah, too easy. Cheers for having me.
Okay, I'll put you in the waiting room and you can go if you want.
Wait, do I have to, do I have an... Oh, don't worry. Yeah, see,
okay.
I'll see you later.
See you, mate. What a man.
Thanks for Bo for coming on. Good chat, definitely.
Great chat.
Aiden, obviously I could see you enjoying yourself there.
I was. That was very enjoyable. Mate, the story didn't come up that you were talking about before we started recording.
Yeah. Hang on. Is Bo still in the... Nah, he left.
Do you want to just tell yourself?
Yeah, I'll just tell it myself.
Yeah.
But obviously I was super good mates with Bo. Still mates with him, but not as close. But in, prep year for best mates. And he obviously lived up at Wakeley. And so I was just talking to his dad, and my dad was there. And both of them called me some words I cannot name on this podcast, but they were very biting. And both thought it was great. So he called me that. He still calls me that to this day.
Can we get any elaboration on what that is, or no?
It was smart something, and you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. Yes, something. Mate. I know what you mean.
So yeah.
Good memories.
Thanks. I'm going to stop recording now, and we'll talk a bit when our next guest comes on.
Yeah.
I'll see you later, Aiden. Welcome back, Aiden.
Hey, mate. Sorry, I just had to have a quick shower.
He just had a quick shower. Yeah, and just tell us the shirt you're wearing at the moment.
Yeah, just repping Subway. Got work straight after, so but we know what we got to prioritize.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tommy, who do we have on for the second part?
So, this teacher, head of English, probably I'd say regarded universally as probably the best teacher at Iona. Whether you like her or not, she is the real deal. She knows a lot.
Yeah.
And she grew up in the bush out west. And I'm looking forward to getting her on. And also we got Cormac Jones again. He just loves Miss Bailey, so we had to get him on. Okay, let's get him in.
Yeah.
Welcome
in, guys.
Welcome in. Hello, Miss.
Hi.
Hello, Macca. Thanks for coming on, Miss, and Cormac to a lesser extent.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for the...
I'll kick off with the first question from Miss Bailey. obviously we've heard glimpses of you're a proud bushy coming from out west. We just kind of want to hear your story about how a girl from out west comes and becomes the head of English at Iona.
Oh, look, it's a long story, kids. I hope you've got snacks. But I grew when I was your age, when I was a boy, I went to boarding school. So I didn't have an option to go to live at home and go to boarding school. So living away from home has not been a problem for me since I was 12 years old when my parents shafted me out. But we were excited to leave home and we were excited to travel. That was life. I grew up 100 kilometres northwest of Longreach on a sheep property. And yeah, in summary, I went to school, university and worked. And I've had a bit of a few different careers. I know I look 21, but I'm very close to 40. And before Iona, I was in Brisbane Catholic Education for 2 years. One of those years was actually in head office making films for them. Okay. Which is really different. And I like to think of it as schoolies for teachers. I just kind of plunged here, just had a fat time, PH fat. And yeah, I highly recommend to all teachers to have a year off. And before that, I was in Marist College Emerald, which is out west. I don't think Emerald's west. Some of you would probably think that's like roly-poly and desert, but it's not.
Miss, we think Dalby's too far out west.
Well, Emerald's only 1,000 kilometres away. You can drive there in one day. And I was there for 7 years. I was a head of house at Emerald. And I needed something different. I was a head of house. I had a few really big years with some of my students in my house. And I was offered that job to go to Brisbane Cath Ed and work in the head office for 1 year. And I thought, why not? And so I did. But prior to that, I did some good runs in the state school system and worked overseas in Italy and Turkey. And I would recommend travel when you can, boys, to go and do that. It was a wonderful experience, and I highly, using your Commonwealth visa, whether it's Canada or the UK, I encourage you to use it in your life before it expires. It might be harder in the future, but it's so worth doing. And seeing and living in another culture is one of the greatest experiences you'll ever have. So yeah, but, state school time, I started teaching in St George State High School, which is just a mere 500 kilometres that way. And it's good. It was good. It was a good way to start teaching. I was called names that just I don't even want to give you the rhyming words for them. And I think it was a really good way. So the middle class Caucasian boys of Iona, you got nothing on what I experienced in my first years.
Yeah, awesome stuff, Miss. Cormac, you got a question, mate?
Yeah, Miss, you talk about those other schools you've been at. What sets Iona apart from those other schools?
Well, I've spoken about this with my Year 12 class a lot, but predominantly the nudity of males at Iona College so freely is something I've never experienced in my schooling teaching career. At Iona, the boys are very comfortable in their own skin, and that's all the skins. It doesn't matter what size and shape they are. They get their gear off outside my office windows every day, morning and night. So it's a treacherous time to look out the window in my office at 7:30 in the morning. So that's something that I've never seen in other schools. But I would also say that when friends of mine who are teachers, they say, oh, you teach in all boys school, they expect that, the boys are some sort of, I don't know, Christian Porters or something, that they're all just sitting around and planning how to rape someone or, chanting or something, it's all hyper masculine. And when I came to Iona in 2018, I was probably introduced by one of the kindest grades I've ever met, other than you guys, of course. But the 2018 graduates were a wonderful start to Iona, and they certainly showed me that all those stereotypes of boys' schools is wrong. And until you live inside an all-boys school, you don't understand why boys might hang out with boys, because it's safe. That's why. It's because they have similar interests. And it's because it's what you knew. I went to an all-girls Catholic school, and, predominantly my friends are going to come from that same clientele. So I think that people who have those stereotypes about all boys' schools, they think that, yeah, you're all walking around kind of, you know, I don't know, hitting each other, when in fact, I often, you know, last year I interrupted a conversation where the boys were talking about who had the best eyelashes in our classroom. And I think, you know, there's not enough of that. Like, let's talk about that conversation.
Yep.
Yeah. Hayden?
Macca, I have a question for you, mate. So I've never had Miss Bailey, but she's definitely one of the most highly looked at teachers in the school. Everyone seems to love her as a teacher. She's your favorite teacher, mate. How would you describe to someone like me who's never had how she teaches in the classroom? What's so good about it?
Well, to be honest, at the start of grade 11, I was cooing myself. I don't know why, but I was genuinely scared of her. But no, she's a very good teacher. She takes time out of her day to help everyone. So, yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, Aiden, I work from a place of fear. Professional goals is to be more Greg Denman. Yeah, I've got some professional work to go there. Aiden, I don't hold back. I will call out behaviour, but I'll also, you know, just talk from the heart. And sometimes that's very confronting. When I've just recently, you know, read things or I've seen something, and I like to bring it to the people. I serve it up to them and challenge them to see whether it works. Yeah.
And so, Miss, you're renowned for giving kids a spray, as they say. What you see is what you get with Miss Bailey. So we're just wondering if you've ever run into a bit of trouble, because I think it's great in class when you get a bit fired up, but other people don't see it the same way.
Oh, look, you know, some of the little flowers in the classroom might need to toughen up a little bit for the real world, because, you know, your Subway supervisor might not be happy with your performance, and you're going to have to take some feedback. Look, Tom, I don't hold grudges. I don't. I give a fresh start every day, and I would hope that my students give me a fresh start every day too. That I can have a bad day, and I would hope that they could cut me some slack. And when I ask for that they would respect that like Macca said, to go, you know, I gave you an hour of my time. Could you cut it? You know, give me something back. So yeah, and I do think that. Sorry, I'm not saying any of your parents, but I do think that some students. Some students have been very protected from any criticism or being told that that's not good enough. And I think I'm not here to say I'm a perfectionist. I'm not here to say I'm the best at anything, but to say that, you know, when you're told that that's not good enough, like your crap excuse or your lame-o, you know, I didn't want to do it. At Subway, it doesn't roll. At Macca's, it doesn't roll. And it's not going to roll in the Coles trolley car parks either. So, you know, I've got to get you ready for the real world, boys. You know, we've got to live, learn, lead, and serve, and serving the Coles car parks is very important.
Let your light shine, Miss. Cormac, anything?
We'll give you a second.
Who were your favourite teachers in school, and were they big drivers in the fact that you are a teacher now?
No, Macca. I was kicked out of Year 12 English in Year 12. We were streamed. Streaming is when you put kids by their ability levels in certain classes. So I was streamed in Year 12 into the high class with the head of English at my all-girls Catholic school. And Mrs. Cummings was her name, Glynis. That was her first name, Glynis Cummings. I hated her. I had her in Year 10. And she was so vague and so off with the fairies and up herself. I remember one of my mate, Kate, threw a chair out the window of the second-story building. It landed downstairs. We then lowered her by leaning out the window and dropping her out the window. And then she threw the chair up. We picked it back up, put it back in. Then we made a little human chain of lightweights. I was obviously not one of them. And we picked her up and brought her back into the room. Cummings was still just talking up the front. She had no idea. By the time I got to Year 12, I was a house captain. I was overlooked. We'll talk about how many times I've been overlooked for leadership positions, but anyway, another day. And I lived with the school captains in the boarding house, and I had become quite known for putting up the fight, and I gave it to her on day one, and Cummings, and I was kicked out, and I was not allowed back. So I taught myself Year 12 English, and I passed everyone. We didn't have English Com or Essential in those days. It was just kind of like they just put all the like girls from Papua New Guinea, the Japanese exchange student couldn't speak English. They put all them in a room and just, you know, got them to write letters or something. And I was in with them. So I just spent Year 12 English teaching them how to write. That was good.
Maybe
but I did have good teachers. I had good teachers. My art teacher, Mrs. Knowles, I still keep in contact with her. I'm 22 years since I was at school, and I'm still in contact with my art teacher. Mrs. Knowles was like a mum to me, and she was like that to lots of students, not just me. I know that I wasn't particularly special, but Mrs. Knowles was a mum, you know, she just listened and let you, you know, sometimes have that space when you're like, I don't want to do this right now. And she'd be like, okay, let's do that, and then come back. So yeah, I had her. There was the teacher who killed his wife in the news the other year, Chris Dawson. No,
teacher's pet. Yeah,
that was my PE teacher. I was head of house. Yeah.
Murderer.
Claim to fame, the murderer. He came to our school after he'd murdered his wife, and he brought his little teenage bride with him.
Did you know Miss Harron?
Good stuff.
Did you know Mr. Harron worked with him in Sydney?
That does not surprise me, because you know what? Chris Dawson used to be a model for Wrangler, and I reckon Keith Harron in his day could have also been a model for Wrangler.
Well, by all reports, Mr. Harron said this bloke was just a nice bloke, which probably put up a good...
Mr. Harron was a bra boy. You know when we talk about the bra boys? Oh. Harron grew up in Maroubra. He is a bra boy. Ask him for stories about what he was doing at 17. Blow your mind.
Yeah.
Big Jesse from Bondi Rescue.
Yeah.
Oh.
The bra boys are the south of Sydney, so they're like
Redfern.
rough.
Yeah.
Okay. The Bunny supporters, Macca.
Yeah. Redfern, dodgy.
Dodgy. Aidan?
Yeah, Miss, I was just going to say, from what you've said about your Year 12 English teacher, it sounds like you were failed a bit, like as a student. Do you try and adopt a method when you teach to try and be more inclusive in the classroom?
Oh, look, yes, Aidan, I do have a soft spot for the battler at the bottom.
Yeah.
Iona, when I came to Iona in 2018, when Noah was in grade 12, that group that I had all the like maths C boys, physics boys in one room, and they were phenomenal. I've never taught such bright students. Noah was not in that class, but he could have been. But they were a particularly bright group, and they challenged me and made me a better teacher. So at Iona, I've seen some really high and amazing writers, amazing speakers, amazing thinkers as students. But then you know what? I get kicks out of Harry Trotter's cat sounds, dinosaur sounds. I get kicks from Nathan Peck and Max Buckley, who, you know, I just want to put outside, of which I have put outside. So I do love them all. I would say that what I've learnt from Mrs. Cummings, Aidan, is you'll never win a fight with me. So I'm not going to kick you out, but I'm not going to let it go. Yeah. The wound will be fresh for some time, and I will talk about my wound a lot. And the Year 12s last year, I went on strike for 2 weeks, and they, one of them was like, I thought you didn't hold grudges. I was like, I hold a grudge against you though. And he was right. So look, I do have a soft spot for the battler. And I would spend time with Tom Waters, 25 out of 25, and I'll spend time with Isaac Grasick, who wrote his IA2 overnight. Yeah.
Good chat, Isaac. And so, Miss, obviously this podcast is also about kind of getting to know your teachers on a more personal level. So just what are some of your interests, and what do you do in your spare time?
Look, I now that I live in the city, when I was out in the country in Emerald, I still rode motorbikes, and shoot stuff and stuff. You can't really do that. I live quite in the inner city of Brisbane. I don't live out at Wynnum, although I'm sure people shoot stuff at Wynnum too. But in the city life, I'm quite artistic, creative. Like I make stuff. I sew some of the clothes I wear, which is for some students, they're like, oh, that explains a lot. I read prolifically. So 2 years ago, I set a challenge to read 52 books in a year. I hit 75. Last year I hit 76, which was a real challenge. It pushes me to read new stuff. You should all read Car Crash by Lech Blaine, just came out this week. I read it. I think it's awesome. I think young men should read it. I don't watch a lot of TV during school time. So on the holidays, I like to just watch crap. And I do, I'm up to F1 season 3, happy to talk about Daniel Ricciardo's upcoming season in the F1 for anyone who'd like to join me. So I watch all sorts of stuff. I'm very social outside of school, go and see lots of people, up for a yarn. I know that's hard to believe. And then I do travel a bit. So I do miss the open. They call it big sky country where I came from. And it's the idea is that there's no mountains, quite flat. There's no range. There's nothing that breaks it up. It's just rolling landscape. And I still miss that. So I do go away on weekends and holidays and stuff, and I get out west. So, I went to Emerald at Christmas holidays to see family and friends out there, and people go, why would you go to a drought-stricken town? You're like, oh, why not? It's good to see that. And I think that some of the students that I remember Anthony Finocchiaro saying to me in year 10, he'd never, Dalby, isn't that the country? I was like, mate, they've got knackers. It's nothing. So I do that. And then I go out to Blackall, which is where my parents lived before they died. And so when I was at boarding, when I was your age, that's where they lived, on a property outside of Blackall, which is sheep and cattle, one horse town kind of thing. Yeah.
Good stuff. Cormac, going in a circular.
I don't really have anything else. Fast five?
Yeah, we'll do Mrs. Quick fire questions. So we're just going to give you our question, Miss. You don't think about it, you just say it. So, favourite teacher at Iona?
Steve Tate.
Steve Tate in my own department. Steve Tate for sure. Mr. Lit would have to be my favourite. If I was a maths student, I would want Mr. Lit.
We're gonna have to ask this, but favourite subject?
Art is still my favourite subject.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've taught it. If you want me to teach art, have taught that. Because when you teach in regional Queensland, if any of you become a teacher, they'll say, you've been to France, right? You can teach modern history. And you're like, that qualifies me. Yeah, when in my first years in the state schools, I taught ag science because I grew up on a farm. You're like, like cattle and stuff, you can teach that. And you're like, not really. So I did.
Favourite band or artist?
Oh, this is, I saw Mr. Cornish's and Mr. Harvey's. You guys do ask the hard-hitting questions, by the way. They were highly entertaining. Look, it depends on my mood. Sometimes on the way to work, I punch out, like a Lizzo playlist and go for my angry, in a black woman really comes out. But I've been to Bruce Springsteen concert. That would be one of the top concerts of my life, Springsteen. But then at the same time, I love old school Arctic Monkeys and, other. So I do have an eclectic mix. But when I'm out in the country, I have to pretend I'm into country music. So, then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what's the Dixie Chicks up to these days? And
See, I would have always pegged you for a Midnight All fan, Miss. I thought you would be.
It depends on the beer, Tom. You've got to match it with your drinks.
Favourite house?
Oh, at school?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so I've been on quite the journey at Iona. I was in Anthony House for like 2 minutes, and then I was shafted over to Charlebois House because Sandy Bush went away, I think, and I had to take Charlie 1. And I'm still an associate to Charlie, but then Mazenod, because I've now live over at Mazenod's house, I've become a substitute kind of family member to Maz, and I'm not sure all the Mazenod family love me as much as I love them, because when their lockers are downstairs, I like to just give a little spray in the morning just to waken them up and get them ready for the day.
Good chat. Favorite sport, Miss?
Look, when I was a boy, because I grew up out of town, we didn't have any childhood sports. So, you know, when you were little, your mums and dads probably, shopped around. Oh, have a go at tennis, Tom. Oh, you're really tall, Tom. Play some basketball. God, Cormac, what did your parents give you? Bowling? I don't know. So,
Lawn bowls.
Yeah, come here, son. So we didn't get any sports as kids because it was 100K to the local town. There was a property about 30 kilometres away, and they had 3 tennis courts. Really weird. That's a really weird thing to have on your property, is 3 lit tennis courts. And his brother and sister who lived there, they're really old. And so every Sunday they had boozy tennis. So your mum and dad would be on the piers. And then as kids, you'd play tennis. And then on the school holidays, they'd have like a little tournament between the kids. And I was very good at partner in doubles tennis. Turns out it wasn't me. It was Cameron who was my partner. And he went off to like play for Queensland. And I continue tennis. At school, at an all-girls school, everyone has to play netball. Like that was just like rugby, you know, like you just got to do it. Like there's no choice. And then because of my height, I played basketball because that's what tall people do. And cardio though, hey, not for everyone. And then my school was really strict. We weren't allowed out on weekends with anyone. Our parents were allowed to take us out one weekend a term, but my parents were poor and they weren't coming anywhere near me. I'm the 4th child. No one likes the 4th child. And so I did surf lifesaving because that was a whole day on a Sunday. You're allowed to be off-site. So you'd go down to the beachfront, which if you've ever been to Yeppoon, boys, it's not much of a beach. But anyway, so I did surf lifesaving.
Great Keppel. Don't bag Yeppoon, Miss.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, the myth went around a few years ago that I played for Australia for rugby. I didn't. My sister-in-law did. My brother's wife. She's about the same weight and height as Cormac, and she can run. And so she played out as a winger for Australia. She played for Queensland, and then she played for Australia women's rugby. And then she was off to play the World Cup again in South Africa, but she got pregnant, and turns out you can't play contact sport when pregnant. So yeah, she did really amazingly, and she's now 44 years old and has 2 kids. And we wonder whether her kids, my niece and nephew, will have her genetic prowess, because she also ran for Queensland sprinter, like Ricky Nalatu. She was a sprinter first. And then a rugby player. So I know a lot about rugby just because the family, we've gone to watch Cassie play around the world and enjoyed that with her. My brother went to Nudgee, and like Iona, everyone plays rugby, whether you're good at it or not, just playing 13H team or something. So that's what we were surrounded by. But yeah, in terms of sports, anything I have to offer, and Sean Devlin sometimes is like, maybe you'll be in the athletic squad. I did javelin, so I could throw. Height, again, helps. And I could throw. So when I was your age, I would represent Central Queensland in javelin. So that's how my cardio finishes. But yeah, no. I would watch anything though. F1 racing though is my sport of the choice at the moment.
Nice.
And I'd like to get amongst that money that is in the F1 racing.
And last one to finish off, Miss. What's your favourite Iona moment?
Oh, look, 2 years ago, I went with Father Michael, Patrick Bright, Matt Caldwell. Who else was with us? Dan Otway from this grade, and predominantly the rest were all from Kemp Nitch. And we went over to Scotland and France with school, and I would have to say, there was a lot of great moments there, but there was a particular one, and Mr. Harvey and I standing there in our matching polo shirts in the Paris subway at 10 o'clock at night, and getting up a student on the Paris subway. That was certainly one of my memorable moments, and it reminded me that even Father Michael can be tested, because he's very good at being patient and tolerant. And that was an amazing trip to go to Scotland. To be in Iona itself was pretty amazing with the students. And by the time we got to the end of that trip and we were in Scotland, the boys were very much, I guess, children of ours. They were members we were a family by the time we got to the end of that, which is lucky, because sitting with Pat Bright on an international flight, so that'd be like sitting with you, Tom. There's not a lot of leg space for anyone else. He's got a lot of legs going on there. At school, I've had some great moments. Last year's at-home learning was pretty fun. Cormac may not agree with that. I had a lot of fun with at-home learning. I tested myself and learnt lots of new things. My classes, I think my classes, Cormac, I think, enjoyed it and came with me on that journey. So learnt lots of skills. The year before that, 2019, Mr. Geary came to me and challenged me. I haven't been a head of house for a while now, and Mr. Geary came to me in 2019, and he just let me know that a student had named me as a person for why they were still here, why they were still on earth. And I thought, that's pretty special to be named as a person. And as a head of house, you get lots of moments where you're told things, mums and dads tell you things and the kids tell you things. But when Mr. Geary came over, it's not the first time I've been told that, but it was pretty special and a big reminder as to the power you can have as a teacher. And I say to the boys sometimes in class that it's, I sometimes spend more time with you than your own mum, in 70 minutes. That could be more than some of you saw your parents today just because of their work and stuff. So we have a big role, and I enjoy teaching. My schoolish year, my gap year, reminded me that I enjoy teaching, and I don't know whether I would want to not be in the classroom. I think I would hate to be in meetings after meetings after meetings talking about it and not doing it. So I still enjoy that, and I'd say that to you boys, don't expect to be the CEO of a company, straight out of school. Life's not full of straight roads. I didn't teach with my teaching degree. I spent 3 years not teaching. So, there you go.
Thanks, Miss. Cormac, anything you want to finish off on, mate?
They were gaming.
No, not really.
Always talkative. Aiden?
I was just going to say thanks for coming on, Miss. I don't know if you know this, but Noah, my older brother who Miss taught, is actually doing teaching at uni.
No way.
Yeah, he's doing
English teaching?
Pardon?
English teaching?
Yeah, English and psychology.
Aww.
He's doing, yeah. So I think he had a big impact in that decision.
Well, Aiden, Noah got in trouble one day because he was meant to be in Math B with Anthony Simmers. And he came past my class and was like, I'm just going to join this. Just sat there. I was like, get out of here, Noah. You're not in my class. Leave. And where are you meant to be? Where are you meant to be? No, miss. It's all right. It's all right. Well, Simmers lost it. Like Simmers was like, where was Noah Jamont? I was like, that kid's like really talented at English. We should, off the fairies. But Aiden, is he vegan? No?
No. He's got allergies. So
700 allergies.
Yeah.
Which I was like, maybe that's, why he's so disorganised. He's got to spend all of his brain power planning his food.
Yeah, maybe. We've been asking the same question for a couple of years now.
And Miss, do you want to say anything just as we come to an end?
Oh, no, look, boys, I would say to you, when I was your age, I thought I wanted to be a teacher and I didn't. I actually studied journalism. To start, because I didn't want to be a teacher who'd gone to school, gone to uni, gone back to school, and I judged those people, and my sister was one. So I don't think that just because you've got to put a QTAT form in a couple of months, year 12s, that is the defining factor, and that's what you're going to do until you're 17, then you die. Life throws lots of curveballs at you, and you might fall in love and move to the other side of the world, and you might have a kid at 18, you might maybe not, hopefully not, but life isn't straight and it's not down the path that you might want it to go or expect it to go. And that detour and slipping and sliding around is actually what makes you who you are. And, you know, I think my bluntness comes from 3 years working with truck drivers while I was a supply chain manager for a rockmelon farm. You know, like, there's things that make you who you are, and I think you should value that just as much as you should value the people you've gone to school with. And all of these people that you're friends with now, keep in contact. I'm nearly 40, and 2 years ago, a friend rang me and went, "I need you." And I went, "Okay, haven't seen you in like 15 years. And her baby had died. And she was like, "I need you. You were a rock for me when I was 15, and I need you to be a rock now." And you turn around and you go, "Really? Am I that powerful to you?" And you never know sometimes what role you play in someone else's life. And I would say to you, you know, that keep those friendships from school. And other people might call it toxic masculinity, and other people might be like, "Oh," but you know, they are your friends, and they will be rocks for you later in life, maybe when you need someone to lean on. And appreciate them for when they are, and when they float away or you kind of drift in different directions, it's not to say that's over. Those friendships can be rekindled.
Righto. I think that wraps us up for today. Is everyone happy to end on that note?
Yeah, Miss, is there anyone you want to shout out?
Oh, look, I think you should interview Mr. Mondolo. He's not much of a public speaker. I think you should totally go for him. Mr. Goodwin, go and get the big guns, guys. Go and get the big guns. You're already taking a step down. You need to get back up. You know who? Mark Robber. He's the guy who runs the school.
He's a good shout.
Hey, I've got Sandy Merton, who does the photocopying. She's building a house off grid. Go and ask her about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Me and Tom have a quick shout out. Christian Milanakos.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, so I'm going to stop recording now, but thanks for coming on, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you.